Alright guys, back for another video. We left off with the S13 over here. As you can see, our little secret from last time is gone. So if you noticed it, this car did originally have a CD09 transmission, but we ended up selling that to one of our customers over on the East Coast, and we got something new. So here would be our reveal. We have a 8 HP 45 transmission. So this came out of a plethora of vehicles. This one specifically is an N55. We did have a 8 HP 70 on order from the UK, but showed up as undeliverable because of the size and the weight. So we found this one locally, saved about 1,500 bucks compared to what we were spending on the 70. So this one down here, I was able to pick up for $200, complete as you see it, with the cooler. Not that we're going to use this. It has the converter and all that good stuff. So over here, this is where we get into all of our cool bolt-on stuff. So we have our turbo lamic. This is our TCU here, a harness to connect everything. And here we have a clutch emulator. So this is actually going to make the auto basically like a manual. So you have a sensor here, and when you push it in, it's going to give you a voltage readout, and you can use this to basically blend in your clutch exactly how you want it and drive it like a manual or an auto. We have a little adapter here, and then this cool guy. This is our DCT shifter. So this is going to make it drive like a sequential for the feel and the shifting. And what's cool about the 8 HP is you can actually shift while drifting. So you can bang out your gears, keep your throttle all the way down, and stay in boost. So that's going to be cool. Should be really fast. And then down here we have our HPR crossmember. This is for the S chassis. We are still waiting on some more stuff to come from Drift HQ, but we did get the crossmember from Seems Legit Garage. They are based out of Michigan. They do a lot of stuff with the 8 HP as well. So we're waiting on Peyton to get here. He is going to start buffing the S13. We're going to get this back together, and I'm going to start mounting up probably the shifter and the clutch emulator while he does that. Alright, so Peyton's over here. He did the fender a little bit so far on the door. Obviously not done yet, but what I'm doing, I'm working on getting this 8 HP shifter mounted. So I just made like a crude little plate right now. This is going to bolt over the existing hydro bracket, and then I just added some mounting points with these little M5 riv nuts. So we can clean this plate up later, but we're going to make sure everything mounts fine and feels good in the car. Alright, so we got our new shifter mounted. We just have a kind of ghetto plate here, but it's going to work for the most part. One of these holes is slightly off by maybe 0.5 millimeter, so it's not all the way in, but we do have full operation. There's not really flex to it, so this is pretty good ergonomically as far as driving the car. We do need to move over to the clutch emulator now, but as far as this goes, it's set it up pretty well. I didn't know if I wanted it canted towards me to pull diagonally, or if I wanted it straight for like a normal style shifting, but we'll try this out. I'll probably have send cut send make a plate, and then I'll have different mounting positions so I can try out different things on the fly. Alright, next up, so here's our clutch emulator, and we do have our little adapter plate here, so let me get this out. I did get this off of Amazon, but there is a slight issue where it actually doesn't fit too well. So, let me hold the camera better. As you can see, it does not recess in this plate, so we're just going to get the Dremel, hog out the sides a little bit so this fits, and then we can bolt everything to the car. Alright, so we didn't actually have the tool to properly hog this out, so I'm just reverse mounting it. I kind of held it up to the previous clutch master to see if to use the shorter or the longer clevis. So we use the longer one, and now we're just going to pop this in here, and looks like I mounted it upside down. So I have to flip this plate, put it back around so that the pattern is correct. So actually, when you have the plate backwards, no matter how you orientate it, for the master to be upright, which it doesn't matter if it's upside down or not, but as for looks, you do. You essentially have to drill some new holes, but also the stud holes in this are not big enough as well. So what I'm going to do is drill these over, put this in, kind of mock up where I want the plate, and mark the plate, and I'm going to drill new threaded holes to actually mount the master. Alright, so we did end up mounting it slightly sideways. I had it angled using the factory holes coming this way, but this little guy here was sticking more towards this, and I believe that would get in the way of the brake master when we put that in. So we just kind of eyeballed it, marked some holes, and drilled it. It's kind of barely touching here, but that's what we had to do because we couldn't mount it straight up and down, otherwise it'd fully be into the wheel well. So we'll do this, and then it'll also hide our wiring a little easier because we could take our plug here and go straight through the firewall there, and then we're not going to be running anything across like the bay through the main firewall hole for the harness. Alright, so now if we come down under the pedals, we have this all hooked up. It's kind of hard to adjust under here, but what I do want to show you that's pretty cool is the clevis clips that come on. So typically you have a pin and a cotter pin, like a hitch clip style. This one will actually, so you put it through here, and then all you do is swing it over and push it onto the clip, and that's actually going to hold it in. So you don't have to worry about using like needle nose pliers to get a pin in and out. Pretty tool free. Now we can pop in our subframe bolts. So there's one with a little dent on this side and one that's flat. So we're going to take our flat one and just drop her into place. Might have to mess with that off camera. And I'll drop this guy in there. Same deal. So I'll get these popped in, and then we'll go over to putting our new subframe on. Alright, so it's the following day. Me and Peyton are back at it, working on the car. We got our subframe in, power brace. Don't know if I showed that last night. Started getting in the booster. And now I got up the steering column. So that's all mounted and centered up. The masters are all bolted up and whatnot as well. We do have this new steering rack here we got from Injuku. I believe this is the J-Replace one. I know there's two new ones on the market that you can get. So this has the inners, the boots, new rack. So we put on our suspension components here just loosely. I still have to mount in the lower control arms, but gonna pop that in, pop off the old inners off the knuckles and the outers, and then we can put in our new steering rack and start to center everything up. All right, so we got our suspension all set up, tension arms and everything, and the other tie rods off. So I did accidentally say this was the J-Replace rack. This is the K-Fab. Pretty much the same thing as far as I'm concerned, new rack. But we do have these GK Tech solid bushings. These will offset the rack and kind of shift it inwards. And that's kind of opposed to cutting your subframe and moving everything forward. this will kind of do that, less amount, and no welding or anything like that required. So it's kind of a in-between point of offsetting your rack. So I'm going to pop the rack on there, we'll get the new bushings on, start bolting all this out. So now we got our rack in, our tuck brake lines. The only issue is, like we saw so far, is this line's tightened up and the line's still loose, so contact the chase page. We're going to see if we can get a shorter bolt for that or what's going on. The GK Tech rack bushings kind of fit like crap, so that was an issue getting in. But other than that, this is all set up. Everything's loosely mounted up. So we just really got to hook up the tie rods now, and essentially it's a roller. So should be done with that pretty soon. Going to get this back on the ground and moving. The block should be done next week, and we can start getting that put together. And just waiting on our transmount stuff still. So Peyton's been at work, just buffing and polishing the car. It's all looking good so far. A couple few spots here and there to go over, but yep, pretty good. Back at Peyton's shop here to pick up the Skyline. He finished doing some paint correction and painting the wing as we showed in the last video. So this is how everything came out and mounted. Got a 3-piece here. See how it all mounts up. So you do have to drill in the quarter panels to fit this, and there's like a little special gasket that comes with it. But yeah, overall it came out pretty good. You can see paint is matching a bit better now. There's still some spots that were repainted by the previous owner or owners, whatever, in Japan. But yeah, a lot better than how it came off the truck. How is it working out for you? Any big issues?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Just, did a little bit of this and a little bit of that. This, that, the third. And polished her up a little bit, You should have seen it when I'll send them some before clips, but this thing was horrid, man. And it needed some love, so I gave it a little love, touched it up a little bit, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and she's all good to go.
Sure. Look at this dude. He thinks he's jump starting his whole car with this little freaking charger.
Hey, sometimes you gotta hope and pray. struggle is real. Yeah, help a brother out.
Mission failed. Pulled up the rig. We got the Ameribera about to jumpstart this thing. Got that Vortec 4200. Slap a big old turbo on this thing.
I need to get electrocuted.
E85 cold start. Here we go.
Let's see what we got going on.
Gotta let it charge up a little bit. Need some voltage.
Need some voltage. Need some voltage.
Oh wow.
She's bright as fuck.
The snow's already on the
Whoops.
tires. Alright, just finished picking up the R34. We're gonna take this home, take a couple pictures for the Instagram, and put this thing away pretty much for winter at the moment, or until we start on our turbo build, but we might have some more bigger things coming, so this may be on the back burner slightly. So we'll catch you guys in the next video, and you'll see what's to come for that.